Just about ready to go at Rupp Arena here in downtown Lexington. Early afternoon game. You might think, what about the crowd? Perfect crowd game. They can get their shopping done afterwards and they're ready to go. And Coach Scott Sanderson of Lipscomb shopping for some guys to put the ball in the basket on a consistent basis, Larry.
Yeah, and Sankey is one of those guys. You're going to watch him play tonight. I really like the way they practiced yesterday, and this is one of the leaders of this basketball team. How about a point guard averaging 8 rebounds a game?
That's going and getting it, and they'll have to do that today. And as you take a look at the Kentucky lineup, it's the one we have seen throughout much of this year. Mays, Harrow, Goodwin, Poitras, and Noel. Wiltshire not in that starting lineup, and you can expect a lot of changes. There you see Scott Sanderson, the dean of the A-Sun head coaches, the son of Wimp. Got a couple of brothers in the profession as well. And Scott really likes this basketball team. They have gotten off to a 4-4 start. This is a string where they're playing like 6 straight OVC teams, though, and he likes his team. John Calipari likes his team, though. It's just been very different, Larry, than some of these self-starting teams that he has become accustomed to here at UK.
I think the one thing that John's been looking for so far in this early part of the season is consistency from this team. He'll get some guys play well one game, and then they'll drop out, and some other guys will pick it up. What he's looking for is consistency from all the players, every possession, every time they go out to play. A couple of things very quickly. I will tell you that Lipscomb will be pressing a lot after made field goals. They want to try to keep them from getting the ball down inside, and the best way to do that is slow down before they get into their offense. And here we go.
Nerlens Noel controls the opening tip. Kentucky in the home white and the Bisons in the road purple. And you want to talk about a quick hand check. Anthony Jordan hits the whistle, and it's Malcolm Smith who gets hit with the foul. Jordan calling today's game along with Tracy Woodson and Teddy Valentine.
You'll see Scott Sanderson using multiple defenses today. He'll use some zone, some matchup zone, man-to-man right now to start this game.
Here's Poitras. Let's see what he does. Smith tried to draw the foul, and it was a bad shot by Poitras.
Keep an eye on the guy that just got the ball, Stephen Hurd, a 6'10 freshman who's been playing very well for the Bisons of late.
Kentucky has worked on some zone and some press the last couple of days, but they start out as normal in the man-to-man. Here's Malcolm Smith. And it's going to be interesting to watch him, Larry. He's got those goggles on. You mentioned it. He got hit with a basketball in practice last Wednesday, and it caused some internal bleeding in the eye. They had to dilate the eye to stop the bleeding. Yesterday, he was cleared. Last night was the first time he wore those goggles. He said he could see a little better out of them today. When you can see out of something a little better, that's not good when you're playing a team the caliber of Kentucky.
Nice kick out by Noel.
And a nice runner by Harrow for the first basket of the game.
Give him a little bit of confidence. He has not been shooting the ball that well this year in only the 5 games that he has played.
Now Harrow with the defense. There's Smith. Lost it a couple of times.
Let's go back and take a look again. I really like the way Nerlens Noel is beginning to pass the basketball, not forcing the issue. It gets to Harrow, who gets into the lane. The one thing that I think, if Lipscomb has any kind of chance to make this game close, they've got to keep Kentucky out of that lane.
And that's one thing Scott Sanderson stressed during the practice last night. Guard them in their attack zone. Don't go outside that attack zone and create opportunities.
He said he'll live with their three-point shooting, Kentucky's three-point shooting, and a turnover right there. One of the problems that Archie Goodwin has really suffered with so far in the early part of this season. The ball went right through his hands.
And Calipari from the UK bench calls immediately for the press. And Anthony Jordan steps in, and he just gave a warning to Deontay Alexander and Ryan Harrow, who were mixing it up a little bit. There you see Calipari at the top of the picture. He's doing everything he can think of to try to increase the energy level of this basketball team.
Just watching Teddy Valentine, the official down there. He's trying to adjudicate what's going on down underneath. I'm not sure he's going to be successful.
And that's a nice drive by Okean Sankey. And back-to-back possessions. Kentucky turns it over.
Go back and again watch Sankey, the junior out of Stockton, California. Nice little hesitation, takes it inside, and a nice move to get it up on the glass to get it in before they can converge on it. Sankey, one of the better players. They've got about 3 guys on this club that play very well for Lipscomb. Here comes that pressure again from Kentucky.
And I think Calipari is trying to press simply to increase the effort from his team. Alexander can't get it to go. Wilcher just checked in for Poitras with the rebound. Noel had it blocked from behind by Hurt. That's something you don't see very often. Glover probably should have gone up with a shot, but did not.
Go back and take a look at Stephen Hurd. I talked about his ability on the offensive end. I'll tell you what, this guy is rounding into an awfully good player. When he was in high school, he played at 6'10", 330. And they decided with Lipscomb, when they wanted to take him, that he was going to have to get his weight down. Well, he's really trimmed down now. He's down to 285.
Now you say that jokingly, but
no, I'm not joking about it.
When you're at 330 and you go to 285, and he can move there.
Oh, listen, he's a very, very good player.
Sankey called for the offensive foul as you take a look at Hurt.
Sean Sanders, who's one of the assistant coaches at Lipscomb, I asked him, I said, how did you get him? I said, did you beat a lot of people for him? He says, he said, we did at the end, but he said, we had recruited him. We were actually looking at another player on his high school team. And he said, I watched this kid play for a couple of years, and they just thought right at the end they'd better go ahead and get him. He got into the state tournament playing up there in Tennessee where he is from, in Murfreesboro. And they said, let's go ahead and take him, but we've got to get his weight down.
Substitutions coming fast and furious, and John Calipari, we're going to call him Captain Hook today, the way he's been talking in practice the last couple of days. He's channeling his inner Sparky Anderson.
What's happened here? We got a technical foul?
Alexander was called for a technical. Remember, I told you they warned him about the jawing earlier. And so Ted Valentine there talking to Scott Sanderson and Deontay Alexander. Mays hits the free throw. John Ross Glover checks back in for Lipscomb. The one thing about that conversation, as Mays hits again, if Ted Valentine calls a technical on you, you're not going to have to wonder why he called it. He's going to give you a very thorough and detailed explanation.
That's what judges do. Those guys in the striped shirts make those judgments on every play.
So Archie Goodwin just went out, courtesy of Captain Hook, number 5. There you see him, Jared Polson, the walk-on from nearby Nicholasville, Kentucky in there. And he's guarded by number 3, Carter Sanderson, Scott Sanderson's son and the grandson of one Wimp Sanderson. Nice rebound. Oh, is that going to bring a smile? They've been few and far between to John Calipari's face.
2 good plays in a matter of seconds right there by Wilcher. The good offensive rebound, and then the pass to Harold going down the lane. Nicely done.
And Sanderson caught in a trap. It was the walk-on and the number 1 recruit in the country teaming up.
Watch Wilcher right here. Doing a much better job of rebounding this year. They've asked him to do that, and Harold finding the opening going down the lane. Nicely done.
5th turnover already against Lipscomb, but the Cats' conversion rate has not been real high. Scott Sanderson said early game would be a key. And Mays can't connect. And so Lipscomb will have the basketball. And if the Bisons could get to the first media timeout down under 4, I think Sanderson would be well pleased.
Good steal by Kentucky. It was good pressure that time up front.
Here's Mays.
2 wide open looks at it, and Mays was not able to convert on either one. And he had a good position, good setup.
Nice ball fake by Glover, and he can't get it to go. And it's Lipscomb diving to the floor. Noel had the rebound, but Malcolm Smith dove, created the tie-up, and the held ball arrow points in the possession of Lipscomb.
Wilcher had one of those slow motion falls after he got the rebound, realizing he was going to travel with the basketball, tried to get away from it. He ended up with a tie-up, and the Bisons will get it back.
And you see Alexander, who's had a chance to cool down after the technical, check back in.
Hurt calling for it against Noel. How about that? How many centers today are going to call against Noel? Nicely done in there.
Boy, and as well as he did on the post-up, Martin Smith delivered an even better entry pass.
The spacing was particularly good that time to make that pass. Hurt got in front of Noel, and he had nowhere to go defensively.
Poitras back in there, can't get it to go.
Wilcher doing a nice job on the offensive glass and picking up loose balls so far in the early minutes.
This was Scott Sanderson's strategy that he talked to his team about last night. Let them shoot outside of the paint. Poitras takes it inside, and he'll go to the free throw line. Harrow with the teardrop. But the Bisons making it interesting here in Rupp.
SEC Basketball is presented by Blimpie and Ram Trucks.
Got a good one. We thought this might be the case. Kentucky on top of Lipscomb, 6-4. Time to take a look at Larry's Ford keys to the game. My partner?
Here at our first commercial break, let's take a look again at our Ford keys to the game. And what are they? Well, for both of these teams, there are a couple of things they have to look at. Obviously, for Lipscomb, they've got to keep UK out of that paint. And they've got to reduce their turnovers. They're averaging 19 per game. For Kentucky, a little more offensive rebounding. They're getting that from Wilcher so far in the early minutes here in the perimeter scoring, which they have not been able to get. Julius Mays has had a couple of good looks outside, not been able to convert, but those are my Ford keys to the game.
Poitras at the free throw line. Chris Simmons, the UK trainer, has been a busy guy over on the Kentucky bench. Looks like he's working on a cut across the way over there on Nerlens Noel. When we were at practice yesterday, as Poitras hits again, Julius Mays tweaked his knee, set out the latter part of practice. I don't think that's bothering him today, but as you mentioned, he has had the tough shooting start. Nice ball fake. That's those Smith brothers you were talking about.
Martin Smith, probably the best shooter on this basketball team, with a nice pull-up J right there.
Willie Cauley-Stein in there for the first time, going to work on Hurt. Wilcher, who has struggled from the outside mightily as of late, hits his first field goal attempt. 5
for his last 30 attempts from beyond the arc. Might give him a little bit of confidence right there.
Smith again.
Telling you, he can shoot it. If there's one guy that got to close out quickly on, it is going to be Martin Smith.
Lipscomb doing a nice job defensively. Cauley-Stein had it blocked. That's the second of the day for Hurt. I'd be looking for that Martin Smith guy. Nice drive by Alexander.
I got to tell you one thing. Dante Alexander that time had a wide open move to the lane. Nobody from Kentucky over to get him. Nice feed inside.
Wilcher, 2 from outside the arc.
How about Cauley-Stein with a couple of assists, huh? Little inside-outside game. Nicely done.
I don't think his future's in being a point guard, though, but they were nice assists.
How about a point center? I'll take a point center.
Goodwin took a hard foul, and he'll go to the line.
Willie Cauley-Stein doing a nice job of passing once the ball goes to the corner. Inside, makes the maneuver, finds Wilcher wide open over there on the wing, and nothing but net. Wilcher with 2 big 3-point field goals to start this game for him.
And you know, it may be one of those situations as Kentucky goes down the road, Larry, you know, you obviously try to work and to get better, but that old phrase, he is what he is. I mean, Kyle Wilcher may just be that catch-and-shoot guy. And so in order to get him good looks, these other guys got to step up.
Dave, I think going into this season, John Calipari looked at Wilcher and decided, look, you're our best guy from beyond the three-point line out there, and we've got to make sure you're going to be able to make those shots. And you're right, early on, and you said it, he has struggled with his three-point shooting. That's not going to go away. I'm not talking about his missing. I'm talking about his three-point shooting. He's going to continue to put the ball up from beyond that arc because he's just too good a shooter.
You see he and Harrow back on the Kentucky bench. Noel, Poitras, Mays, Cauley-Stein, and Goodwin in there for the Cats. Glover, Alexander, Sanderson. Oscar Garcia, number 32, 6'8", 225 from El Paso, getting his first action of the day. In there along with Martin Smith. Hurt and Malcolm Smith, both on the bench now for Lipscomb with 2 fouls apiece.
Goodwin's going to pick up that foul. He was coming forward to help Mays on a trap right at the mid-court line, which is exactly where if you're going to trap, you come out there and grab the guy who's got the basketball. They just committed the foul. Sanderson did a nice job of handling the ball that time.
First of the afternoon on Goodwin. I asked Scott Sanderson last night, I said, what did Grandpa think about his grandson playing for his dad? He said, please don't do it. Noel with his first. I know our guys in the truck got that, but you actually heard some emotion from Alex Poitras. Calipari specifically in practice yesterday, Larry, said it'd be nice if instead of shooting a layup, you dunked the ball and yelled afterwards, and that's exactly what he got.
John wrote the script.
Wow. He better do a rewrite and figure out what's going on, though, with Martin Smith, because he is having an afternoon for the Bisons.
What is he, 3 for 3 so far?
Indeed he is, 2 of 2 from outside the arc. Goodwin tried to get it to Noel, and the Cats turn it over for the third time.
Once again, take a look at this nice maneuver down inside the feed to the guy that's really playing well for them. Other end, Poitras grabbing it and jamming it. How about Noel recovering quickly enough to get that ball?
He is quick off his feet. Not only did Calipari want to hear that on the offensive end, but on the defensive end as well. He went down earlier this week, Larry, and saw Michael Kidd-Gilchrist play in Charlotte against the Clippers. And he came back and talked to his team about how Chris Paul was yelling at everybody on the court about how much the pros communicate. And if those guys are that good and do that, his line was, we're not good enough to not do it.
Again?
Wilcher and
again.
Martin Smith putting on a show. Little mano-y-mano.
Told you Martin Smith could fill it up. He's a fun player to watch. Wilcher doing equally as well. Again? No.
And the Bison's running. And Archie Goodwin erasing. Third block by the Cats on the afternoon.
SEC Basketball is presented by O'Charlie's, Regions Bank, and Toyota.
Willie Cauley-Stein with the ball in hand. He threw it into the stand just a little bit ago. And he needs to get out and find Martin Smith because he is having a day as we take a look at our Ram Trucks game summary.
And so far for Lipscomb, Martin Smith, 11 points, 3 of 3 on three-point field goals. How about them shooting 50% so far? Kentucky, Kyle Wilcher off to a good start. 3 of 4 from beyond the arc, 9 points, 9 of 19 points off of the bench. And for Lipscomb, one of the keys I said earlier was the fact that they needed to take care of the ball. 8 turnovers already, Dave.
Unbelievable. Smith doing a great job. His brother in foul trouble, but Martin Smith is 4 of 4 from the field, 3 of 3 from outside the arc. The brothers had a lot of different scholarship offers, but they always felt like they were going to go and play together. And as you can see, it's not one of those deals like, oh, we'll take your brother if you come. They're both good enough to stand on their own merits, as Martin Smith will now go to the free throw line.
Well, they closed down on him that time as he made the dribble drive down inside into the lane, inside the free throw line. And the reason it didn't work was he got hammered as he was going up. Kentucky maybe fully realizing now this is the guy they've got to stop, at least at this point in the game. He has been very hot.
That's his first miss of the day, and it comes at the free throw line.
How about a guy who shoots 89% from the line?
And that's the only one he misses. Poitras back in. Has 2 for the first time is number 10, Talbot Denny, 6'6", 200-pound freshman from Tucson, Arizona, wearing number 10 for the Bisons.
How about that? 2 misses from the best free throw shooter on this Lipscomb team. Lipscomb back in a 2-3 zone now. They'll match up out of this. Scott Sanderson, he says, I've got to change my defenses. I can't just play man-to-man against these guys. They will wear us out. Nice passing.
Nice finish by Poitras.
Wilcher with a really good look that time. You can tell Kentucky's worked on their zone offense. That ball hit Wilcher right in the paint, and he found an easy open, wide open, down inside Alex Poitras.
There is nothing that they haven't worked on this week. Kentucky, the one thing they've got to do besides the energy, they've got to guard. Here they forced the turnover. Harrow hit hard, and he's down on the deck. And Kentucky with a chance to complete the three-point play, but Harrow, who's had injury problems, you could hear his elbow all the way over here, and he is in pain as he heads to the Kentucky bench.
He's driving his right elbow. He's got it cradled right up around his clavicle up there, and John Calipari just turns him over to the trainer, and they're going to take a look at him.
Get an update as soon as we can. You wonder, as Mays completes the three-point play, whether it's one of those things where something's really hurt or whether you hit the proverbial funny bone or something. It just went numb for a little while, but it was a hard hit. A hard hit that was a result of him missing the layup and then missing a relatively easy putback.
Oh, good rebound by Noel. Did he sky?
Great position and went straight up.
Still that 2-3 zone being employed, and Wilcher missed an easy one right about 8 feet on the right side of the basket.
And nobody there for the rebound. Scott Sanderson last night preached to his team, let them shoot jumpers. Wow, what a play for the backside by Noel.
Close to goaltending.
Fourth block by the Cats. Holson! And Noel really hooked on his way to the basket. John Calipari wanted an intentional foul.
Let's go back and take a look at Kentucky's defense right here. Look at Noel. Got it just maybe at the top, maybe just a little bit beyond that. Makes no difference. It went back to Kentucky, and Noel with a chance to add a couple of more points here to Kentucky's numbers. He's really struggled from the line this year, Dave. This is something he's going to have to start to improve.
I tell you,
because he's going to get fouled a lot.
He is. As you see Harrow, he's okay coming back in. Every time we've seen him, though, while the numbers may not be there yet, he looks more comfortable every time he shoots a free throw.
I know the coaching staff at Kentucky has talked to him about his free throw shooting. If there's ever a greater example than the Hack-a-Shack in the NBA. I mean, that's what happens when you can't shoot free throws. Every team's going to foul you before you get out there, and there's going to be a foul there.
Poitras is going to be guilty of it. And to catch people up, Larry, this whole Camp Cal thing came up. Last year it was Michael Kidd-Gilchrist who started the Breakfast Club, and players started working out on their own at 7 a.m. They weren't quite as frisky, this bunch. So Cal has had them working out with strength coach Rock Oliver at 7 a.m. They've practiced every day this week in the afternoon. Worked out at 7 a.m. Nice move in there by Glover. Lots of conditioning and basketball as well. And he's trying to increase their effort and, most importantly, increase their focus.
He wants them in the gym. Wants them working.
Harrow almost had it taken away by Sanderson.
Good defensive effort that time by the Bisons.
Kentucky's offense gone a little stagnant, but Lipscomb has not been able to capitalize. Sanderson tried to get free on the backdoor cut, and Hurt gave him a pass. It was too tough to handle.
Another turnover again. Scott Sanderson, the coach right there. The dean of Atlantic Sun coaches. Hard to believe. I've known him since he was about 6 years old.
He told me last night that he remembered being at basketball camp when you were there. Said he was there with Ralph Sampson, Spud Webb.
I'm sure he remembered all of those chosen words I had to say about improving your game.
Nuggets of wisdom.
10 turnovers so far for Lipscomb.
Harrow can't get the three to go. Kentucky's led by as many as 9. Lipscomb has never led. Been tied once. Boy, that's something that Kentucky has just got to get better at. You've got that kind of size, and a guy drives right through the defense.
Yeah, John Ross Glover making a nice maneuver right there. He got an open lane. And the reason why that happened is nobody for Kentucky converged. You've got to have a confluence of players meeting when the ball gets that close to the rim.
Nice drive by Harrow.
Same thing on the other end. You know, the Bisons did not converge that time. And once Harrow got through that first layer of defenders out front, he was wide open.
And that penetration is probably the biggest thing that Ryan Harrow can bring to this Kentucky offense. Glover draws the contact again. So back and forth go the Cats and the Bison. It's Kentucky on top by 8. The alumni band, they take over during Christmas break, putting out the hits. And the Cats hitting Lipscomb to the tune of 27-19. Dave Baker, Larry Conley. Larry, your thoughts on what you've seen early on?
Well, the thing that I'm beginning to see is a little more togetherness, if you will, on this basketball team. And they're starting to do some of the things that I expected to see toward the latter part of December. And Kyle Wiltshire, at least at this point, is kind of leading the way. He needs to make those three-point shots. I think it gives him more confidence. He's been awfully good on the offensive, defensive glass. But his three-point shooting is really the key for this Kentucky basketball team on the offensive end. He's come up with a couple of loose balls, but that is what he needs to do, is make those threes.
And as he gets more of those opportunities, the easier it's going to become for everybody else on the offensive end for Kentucky. But it is still very much a work in progress. Cal has been running those guys in and out.
I think oftentimes when you've got a player who has come into the beginning of the season, certain things, certain expectations are there for him, and obviously it's his three-point shooting. If he's not done well, it takes maybe a game to really light your fire. Maybe today is that game will get him moving in the right direction.
Nice entry pass. Sankey got it down to Hurt. Big fella couldn't hold it.
Whoa.
Poitras launches one in. That one went in the first row. That was in about the fourth row.
Hard to make that pass all the way across court from one corner to the other. So far, Kentucky with only 4 turnovers.
Cauley Stein, Harrow, Polson, Poitras and Mays in there for the Cats.
Good feed to the post.
Boy, that big fella can play now, Larry Conley.
I'm going to tell you what, getting down to 285 has made him more mobile. For those of you watching at home, you may not think so, but Cauley Stein with a nice finish.
And he still needs to get even more mobile because you got to get back and play defense.
Does anybody run the floor better than Cauley Stein after made field goals or missed field goals? I mean, he really sprints to the other end.
Fastest guy on the team. It's the old wide receiver from back in the days at Olathe, Kansas, is Willie Cauley Stein.
Nice feed there, too, done by Julius Mays, getting the ball down inside. And a good finish by Cauley Stein. You know, if he does that, he can get 3 or 4 baskets every game.
Glover goes right to work on Polson, and he forgot Noel was there. Nice feed from Mays.
You get a 3-on-2 break, take full advantage of it. The reason that works is you got to make sure you don't make the pass until that lane is cut off. Mays' lane was cut off. He had to give up the ball. Right timing, right place. Ends up being a basket.
Kentucky with a double-digit lead for the first time today. Look at Hurt, though.
He is putting a hurt on Kentucky right now.
I'm telling you, Larry, if that kid gets himself in some better shape and give him credit for what he's done, he'll be able to make some money playing this game. Only a freshman. Olsen got caught in between, but then hustled and got his own miss.
A little attention to detail by Lipscomb that time, allowing him to get inside. And a nice maneuver to be able to pick it up. Jared Polson with an easy basket.
They're just going to go to Hurt. He couldn't get that one to go, but he has no clue that Nerlens Noel was the top recruit in the country. Mays got his own.
Good outlet pass by Hurt. Oh, what a terrific job by Harrell to come back and knock that ball loose and come up with it.
Alexander is down just to our left. I was looking at Scott Sanderson as he was talking to Ted Valentine. Sanderson felt like somebody on the Kentucky team did something they shouldn't have, and I saw him lip sync. You know what? He ought to be thrown out. So the officials can go and look at the tape while they're attending to Alexander. We'll be back to sort it all out right after this. Kentucky with an 8-2 run in the last minute 59, and just before the break, keep an eye on the lower left-hand part of your screen. Alexander, who got a tee earlier, Larry, tied up with Nerlens Noel.
You know what? I'm not sure anything happened there. It's kind of like a defensive back and a wide receiver going after each other, and all they do was just drag each other to the floor. I mean, I'm not sure the foul could have gone either way.
Well, a couple of different things. Our producer, Brian Woodrum, and our director, Roy Alfers, in the truck, they were right on top of it. You could see from that look that Ted Valentine was right there. The officials can go and look at the monitor to see if a flagrant 1 or 2 occurred. They did that. They determined it was incidental contact. Scott Sanderson was immediately screaming he should have been thrown out.
Well, from the particular angle we had when we looked at it, I didn't see anything. I mean, they both took each other down to the floor.
And Alexander went down hard, but as we mentioned, he had gotten teed up earlier. Trying to see where he is right now. Boy, it's Smith, Martin Smith, we have not heard from in a long time. 13th turnover of the half for the Bisons. They made the decision early that when Malcolm Smith got those 2 early fouls, he was going to sit for the rest of the first half.
13 turnovers on a team that averages 19 turnovers.
And Kentucky with 14 points off those 13 turnovers. What a follow by Noel. Sankey, nice ball fake. And he got it to go over Noel and John Hood, who was helping out.
That's one of those situations, if you're Noel, just stand your ground. Don't take the ball fake. Just stand your ground, and when it gets ready to go up, then you can go swat it.
Looks like this is a different zone than the one we saw.
That's a 3-2 right now. They've got on the top out there Oscar Garcia at 6'8", right in the middle of the free throw line.
Hood, Polson, Mays, a 3-guard attack for Kentucky. Noel threw it away. He's in there with Poitras, but Polson chases down another loose ball.
You know what? That's a good call, because they never changed possession. The ball was slapped away. It was knocked away, but Lipscomb never got possession of the ball. It was free, and when Kentucky picked it up in the backcourt, they still, at least under the rules, still had possession.
There had never been a change of possession. Tracy Woodson right on that call at midcourt. Polson heads to the bench. Harrow checks back in. He's got a season-high 8 for the Cats already. And they must have taken Alexander back to the Lipscomb locker room to check him out after that tie-up with Noel. The other thing John Calipari's doing, I think he's sending a message to Archie Goodwin here in the first half, because he's probably played less minutes than we've seen all season from him. Smith got Noel up in the air. Just what you were talking about, Larry.
Just keep your feet. You know, when you're 6'11", 7 feet, and somebody comes in there near the block or ready to go up, just stand your ground and wait for them to go up. At your size, you're going to be able to knock it back. He takes a lot of ball fakes down inside there, and I'm sure that John Calipari said, look, just stay down there, keep your arms up, and get ready.
We've got our State Farm halftime report coming up at the break. Update you on what's going on in college basketball. The college football bowl season starting today as well.
They've only got 35 of them. 35 bowl games.
Down to the final 2 minutes of the first half. Kentucky equaling its biggest lead at 10. Tough shot.
Well, Hearn has done yeoman's work on that glass on both ends.
He has played a really good first half. And they say that basket is going to be good. Is Cauley Stein is called for the basket interference. Polson set to check back in. And Poitras missed the layup. Now, he didn't score, but Cal's going to like that because he did show some emotion.
Well, not only that, I mean, he missed his initial basket, and then he got himself down in a position to be able to go back and get it again. Watch this. Hurts right there to try to reject it. The ball comes around the rim, and again, he gets fouled. That was the second effort that he put forth right there to go to the free throw line. Poitras has so much ability.
7 points. You know, and Larry, just to reemphasize, it's not that he's a bad kid. He's a great kid, and Cal likes him too. But I mean, he's just doing anything he can to try to get that motor running. He called him Eeyore in practice yesterday. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to walk around like Eeyore. And to see John Calipari do an Eeyore impersonation is something that only the Calipari kids and us have had the pleasure of seeing now. Probably much better received on Christmas morning than it was in practice. But he just understands the talent this young man has. And if he can get the drive to equal the talent, you've got a special player.
Nice job by Polson. Harrell looked up and saw Polson floating right down that lane. I think Lipscomb just forgot about him. He was about 6 feet out and pulled up and made a really tough runner right there. It's a hard shot to do when you're on the run.
Another steal by Kentucky. Cauley-Stein led the break. And Colson with a chance to complete the three-point play. One of the other things John Calipari said in his news conference yesterday, he talked about the fact, Larry, that Polson hadn't been in the gym all year long, and here recently he's in every day, and he said you can see the results.
A couple of back-to-back baskets. Chance for a three-pointer right here. You got it.
Polson with 7 first-half points on 3 for 4 shooting from the field.
That is a 30-second timeout.
You've got a team full of All-Americans and highly rated players. And if you're John Calipari and you can get 7 from Jared Polson in a half, that'd be a big bonus. All right, let's take a look at our Toyota trivia question, Larry. In 2012, Cats had a record 6 players taken in the NBA draft. What other school has had 6 players taken in a single draft? That answer is coming up later. Larry believes he knows the answer. He did not hesitate. He's not asking to phone a friend.
Here are the first-round picks from Kentucky from last season. Davis getting back into the lineup. He's been somewhat hampered with some injuries. Kid Gilchrist is playing pretty well right now. Terrence Jones at 12, Marquise Teague at 10. How about that? Not bad, huh? Those are 4 pretty good players, averaging double figures for the Cats.
Teague was another example that Calipari used. He got in the gym. They said he was in the facility in Chicago 3 times a day. And now he's averaging about 20 minutes a game for the Bulls. Kentucky with its largest lead. Clock now down to 5. And Glover is fouled. Anthony Jordan says it'll be a 2-shot foul.
How about that? I was watching the maneuver by John Ross Glover that time for the Bisons. John Calipari may disagree with the call, but they say 1 and 1 or 2. 1 and 1.
I heard him say on the way up.
Yeah.
Glover couldn't get it to go. Harrow at the buzzer. And the Wildcats rolling a lot of players in and out. Cal looking for consistency. He's getting some better effort today. Julius Mays on the break. Harrow with a season-high 8. And the Cats up big at the break. (43-29), Kentucky on top of Lipscomb here at the half at Rupp Arena in downtown Lexington. Dave Baker alongside Larry Conley. Larry, obviously some things that John Calipari going to be pleased with, but I'm sure he still sees an awful lot of upside with his team.
Well, the thing that I've noticed, this is the 5th time that I've seen them play so far this year, and I will tell you that I'm starting to see a little more convergence, if you will. I mean, playing together. Sure. It looks a little bit better to me. Noel had a really good first half, I thought, on both ends. Wilcher making his 3-point shots could be key to this team. Those 2 guys, they really got to pick this team up, kind of carry them.
Absolutely, as we take a look at our State Farm halftime stats presented by State Farm Insurance.
How about Lipscomb? You shoot 48%. You feel like you're in pretty good shape, and you're losing 43-29. Free throws, Kentucky with a number more free throws. Turnovers already 15 for Lipscomb, who averages 19 points off turnovers. Kentucky with 19 points off of those 15 turnovers.
And you take a look at the leading scorers, you see a lot of balance for Kentucky. You talked about Noel and Mays having a good first half, not necessarily from the floor, but Ryan Harrow with 8. You've got Polson with 7. And Martin Smith got off to the quick start. Harrow with that new season high of 8 points. As you take a look at the Kentucky squad, and one of the keys for Lipscomb is going to be, we saw those nice numbers for Martin Smith in the first half. Brother Malcolm back in there now after sitting for most of the first half with 2 early fouls. And Archie Goodwin, who has been oh so solid for Kentucky, does not have a shot. Only played 7 minutes in the first half. He's back in there to start in the second. There he is. And he has his shot blocked by Smith.
Boy, is that a good defensive play that time by Martin Smith. I was watching that time. Archie Goodwin trying to get in there and kind of get something started in the second half. This guy averaging 16 a game. They go to Hurt, he misses it, comes right back and puts it in.
Boy, he stays with it now.
How about the first half he had? 9 rebounds and 6 points.
.610, 285 out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Not a cocky guy, Larry, but he's playing with an awful lot of confidence against a guy in the likes of Nerlens Noel. Goodwin again, badly off. And doesn't get back on defense. John Calipari calling a timeout as Lipscomb has come out and cut the Kentucky lead to 10. John Calipari has come out, and he's going to the hook.
Lipscomb quickly out of the gate to start this second half, only trailing by 10 now. I want to go back and show you a play right here. I want you to watch this screen right here. Once it is set, as the player comes around this screen, watch the roll to the basket. Then, once the roll happens, and again, it's a nice maneuver down in there. Look at him, wide open in there, calling for the ball. Here's where Mays needs to be, on the other side to deny that pass. And it does not happen. And as they move the ball down inside, once he misses, he comes right back with it and sticks it in. And a nice play by Stephen Hurt. Nice operation and good execution that time down inside by Lipscomb.
Larry, I think you're absolutely right. Nice start to this second half for Lipscomb. But it's the latest in what is becoming a long line of difficult second half starts for Kentucky. And John Calipari has tried all kinds of different things to get his team out quickly in the second half. And that putback will help, but it has just not happened with any consistency for these Cats.
How about Wiltshire? Double figures now. 9 in the first half, gets the first basket for him here in the second half. And the first one for Kentucky.
Harrow called for the foul. And there's Alexander, who is back on the Lipscomb bench. He got tied up late in the first half with Nerlens Noel. Went back to the locker room. They checked him out after taking a hard fall. Harrow whistled for his second foul.
Hurt calling for the ball again against Noel. Decides to come out and set the high ball screen.
Sankey spins.
Basket by Sankey.
Mays, Harrow, and Polson back in there for the Kentucky three-guard lineup. There's Wiltshire, who shoots it like a guard, except he's 6'10".
The first 2 baskets of the second half belong to Kyle Wiltshire for the Cats. One of them on a nice rebound, that time on a slip of the screen and staying out top. A little pick and pop.
Boy, Hurt with another offensive rebound.
I think that puts him in double figures, doesn't it, in rebounding?
He has been a load. You're right, Larry. That's 11 rebounds for Hurt.
Well, I missed it one earlier here in the second half because I know he had 9 in the first half. 11 rebounds already.
He gets so many, it's easy to miss one.
It's got a nice-looking shot.
So John Calipari with 4 bodies off the Kentucky bench. So a whole lot of people must not have done their assignment that time. Poitras, Hood, Cauley Stein, Goodwin back in there. Mays is the only man who survives the purge. And Hurt, with that miss, still just a point away from his first double-double.
Mays all over Poitras for not grabbing that ball and pulling it back in.
And there he goes. 15 substitutions for Kentucky. They've done that between 8 players, I believe. Malcolm Smith with a spin. Another offensive rebound for the Bisons.
Great grab inside by John Ross Glover. He got into some pretty tall timber right there and was able to come down with it, and they'll keep the ball. There's Poitras over there getting a little help from Orlando. Anthony, good move by Cauley-Stein, and he's not able to finish.
Willie Cauley-Stein with a nice steal. He and John Hood both trying to chase it down. They just couldn't control it.
Good job by Stein coming up with it, pushing the ball the other end. That guy's 7 feet. You know, he handles the ball pretty well.
And you know, we've talked about the fact he's lost those 50-plus pounds, but hurt, running stride for stride with it. Martin Smith with a 2. And Lipscomb playing with a lot of confidence here early in the second half.
They go to that zone.
Glover got a hand on it, but a nice play by Cauley-Stein.
Cauley-Stein went right back in there after kind of an interruption by Lipscomb on the pass coming down inside to him. He was able to grab it and put it up and in. That's what they need more of, down inside. They got to be a lot more aggressive, a lot more forceful.
Martin Smith to Malcolm Smith. And that layoff and that eye thing, it's definitely taken a toll on him because he just does not look real comfortable out there right now. That is Lipscomb's 10th offensive rebound that gives them an extra possession.
Well, they battled Kentucky to a standoff at the midway point. Both clubs had 19 rebounds at halftime, and second half, Lipscomb has really gone to the glass a lot stronger than Kentucky has.
Hood guarding Martin Smith.
Cauley-Stein had to pick him up on a switch. Martin Smith's got the advantage here. He's got to go up with it.
Not a good shot, and Goodwin with the offensive rebound. Alexander, number 4, who we talked about, back in there for Lipscomb. He's guarding Harrow right now. Hood for 3.
Hood averaging about 4 minutes a game, getting a little more playing time here this afternoon.
And a whistle away from the ball. And I believe they've called a double foul. We'll sort it out. Wilcher's jumper will make Cal happy. Some of the other stuff, not so much. Cats on top, 5:15. There you see new U head coach Mark Stoops, a football coach at Kentucky who's put together a big-time staff. Getting the Big Blue Nation fired up. Dave Baker, Larry Conley back here with you. And right before we went to break, we had a personal foul, a technical foul, and you were just getting it sorted out from referee Anthony Jordan.
Yeah, and I was correct in what I was telling you when we were off camera, is the fact that when you've got a personal foul, that stops the clock. And you'll see it right here. The personal foul will occur. And once the personal foul is called, then there's a clock stoppage. And you cannot call a personal foul when the clock is stopped. It has to be a technical foul. And the technical foul will be called against Cauley-Stein. And you have alternate possessions right there, but you shoot the technical foul.
We saw just the end of it. Anthony Jordan had called the personal foul earlier on Garcia. And right there at the end, when you saw Cauley-Stein with the shove, that was after the whistle. That was the technical. Just put Martin Smith at the line, where he hits 1 of 2.
He has missed 3 free throws today, their best free throw shooter.
And the kind of game he's having, too. He's missed more free throws than he has three-pointers. It has put Willie Cauley-Stein on the bench. And, you know, Larry, I don't understand. Because the alternate possession arrow points in the way of...
Well, they flipped it. They flipped it when they made the change.
Gotcha.
So it goes back the other way. So it went this way to Kentucky's way after the technical foul.
Noel trying to get around the man, and he draws the foul. And you see Alexander trying to give some tips to Sankey on the finer art of boxing out.
Lipscomb back into that 2-3 zone again, and Kentucky will try to attack it on the perimeter, but always looking for an outlet somewhere in that middle of the free throw line or down on the baseline. There it is.
Nice ball fake by Hood and a good closeout by Smith.
Now, Dave, that was good ball movement.
Yeah.
Kentucky did exactly what they wanted to do that time. They just did not make the basket. They had a good look at it. They had one down on the baseline, did not take it, then kicked it back outside. Mays could not make a wide-open three.
You know, he's had a frustrating day from that standpoint, Larry. He's only 1 of 6 from the field, but he's got 5 rebounds, 3 assists. He's perfect at the free throw line. And it's been a nice job by the young man playing through a difficult shooting day. Speaking of tough days, Goodwin's had one. And he got caught up in the air that time. And they say Hurt is guilty of the foul.
I think they're going to get it on the pass off, too. He was not taking a shot. As he went up in the air, as he is wont to do once he gets in that lane down there.
Good call.
Either he simply goes up and takes the shot. He will have gotten 2 shots, but he made it on the pass off.
And Hurt thought that he was guilty of the infraction as Hood goes to the bench, but they actually blew it on Glover as Noel has it knocked away. Malcolm Smith still can't get one to go. Neither can Mays. And they say Noel is guilty of the push-off.
Pretty nice block out that time by Malcolm Smith. Noel, even though he's about 6 inches taller, complaining to Ted Valentine, the official, saying, I didn't push. Watch underneath and see if in fact he did. Well, not much there. Hurt with a high ball screen for Sankey. I think we've got an offensive foul.
And they call it on Hurt. That's his first.
Once again, Hurt and Noel right in the free throw lane. You can see he grabs him. See that left arm? Whenever you hook a defender like that, you're going to get called. And it's the easiest foul in the world to call.
It's even easier when the guy who's doing the hooking is 285 and the hookee is 228.
Well, there's a hooker and a hookee. Wiltshire again.
Wiltshire has hooked up from long range this afternoon. Oh! 5 of 6 from outside the arc. And he goes diving to the floor for the loose ball. And he gets the timeout. Amazing how after a tough week of practice, you get a little extra bounce in your step when you hit 5 of 6. As the Cats call a 30-second timeout.
Let's go back and take a look again at Kyle Wiltshire, who's having a magnificent afternoon. Squares up, gets the defender to go by him, and just steps to the left and nails it. It's the kind of game that he really needed to have. And again, down inside, Noel making it difficult inside, adjusting that shot. Harrell almost comes up with the basketball. Wiltshire goes to the deck, and he's right in the middle of it. It's a tie-up, and Kentucky gets the timeout.
Wiltshire only averaging about 22 minutes a game. He played 12 minutes in the first half.
And he's played a lot of the second half here so far, too.
And he will tell you he's a guy that has benefited, Larry, from those early morning practices. I mean, it's, one of those things, you just got to bigger, faster, stronger. And he's a guy that realizes that and has embraced what his coach is telling him. He's also tied his career high today with 8 rebounds. That only his second miss from outside the arc.
Noel with a slap away. want a guy 7 feet who leads your team in steals, all right? Block shots and steals, that's some combination. I'd expect him to block shots, but the steals category, he has always got his hands around that basketball.
I think it starts with a really good understanding of the game because he does it without committing fouls. Gets himself in position to make the steal.
Garcia with a good screen.
Glover had it blocked by Goodwin. 8th block of the day for Kentucky.
Just about on their average, aren't they, for block shots? Leading the Southeastern Conference in that category.
Wilcher again.
He is on target today.
Scott Sanderson has seen enough. Fans on their feet as they welcome Kyle Wilcher back to Rupp Arena.
A lot of threes floating up there in the stands, and a lot of them going into that net on the floor. Noel with a nice kick-out pass out there. Give him another assist, and Wilcher nailing it. Boy, he's gotten himself in position to make those shots, and he's very good at that. Just need a little bit of confidence that this might be the game that propels him forward and helps this Kentucky squad. And John Calipari probably very pleased to see all those threes going through that net.
The other thing is, Larry, as he gets himself in better shape, he can play for longer stretches, and you see the difference in the numbers.
Dave, I think that's a good point, particularly for him. I mean, this is a guy you look at him and you know he's 6'10", somewhere in the 235 to 240 range. But it's not so much the weight as it is the stamina that you build from going out there every day, getting your legs, even getting your lungs and your wind. I mean, really in good shape to be able to withstand a lot of minutes out there on the floor. What it does for you, it makes you play hard on every possession.
He's also got to be quick enough to have a defensive presence and not become a defensive liability.
I think we've just described what Kyle Wilcher needs to do for the next, 3.5 months.
Yes, sir. Wilcher on the verge of a career high. Teddy Valentine calls another technical. The action never stops. And we're back in a minute. Those who got into the eruption zone today ready to go. And they've seen a good one. All right, just before the break, Larry, here you go. Nerlens Noel, John with Alexander, number 4 from Lipscomb. There you see Alexander. Alexander got a technical earlier in the game. Remember, they got in that tie-up late in the first half.
Did he call it on Alexander or did he call it on Glover?
I thought it was Glover, too. Glover tried to step in, but it was Alexander. And we've been told that, remember, Alexander got one early in the first half, so that's his second, and by rule, he's been ejected. So Alexander done for the afternoon. Noel gets the technical.
A lot of technical fouls so far in this game.
No question. No question. There you see Alexander on the Lipscomb bench. And we'll see what happens with Nerlens Noel. He's coming back out onto the court. And so we go to the free throw line at the Lipscomb end of the court. And Scott Sanderson still talking.
I think this had to do with a personal foul.
With Ted Valentine.
Did he shoot it? We're going to get a clarification here.
Offsetting technical fouls is what Anthony Jordan, I believe, said.
Yeah, and Anthony Jordan said it was a point of interruption on an attempted field goal attempt, and that's why they were shooting free throws for Lipscomb. Referees are getting more airtime than we are.
Wilcher with the offensive rebound, and Goodwin is fouled on the floor. Archie Goodwin, you know, this is part of the up and down thing that happens with freshmen, Larry. I mean, Goodwin comes in here having been Mr. Consistency for Kentucky, averaging 16.4 a game, 33 minutes a game in 9 starts. Had a streak of 5 or 6 straight games where he had 20 plus, and he has not scored today.
Archie!
he has.
See, he hurt you. Nice move that time by Goodwin in the corner out of the out-of-bounds play.
I think he heard the bench. I think they just said, go get you one and let's finish this thing out. So Sankey in there along with Martin Smith, Garcia, Glover, and Sanderson. Kentucky in the midst of a 10-0 run. There's Sanderson. And they're going to...
That's going to be over the back.
Yep. Nice position by Goodwin as he got shoved in the back.
Looks like Sankey was the guy that got him.
That's the fourth, as you mentioned, on Sankey. Puts Kentucky in the bonus. As Hurt comes back in. Also in for Lipscomb, getting his first minutes of the afternoon. Chad Johnson, 6'0", 185-pound sophomore from Edmond, Oklahoma, wearing number 20. No doubt he's getting those minutes now that Alexander won't get because of his ejection. Poitras on the offensive glass.
Nice work by Poitras that time, coming down with that ball. That time he showed some strength with the ball. You know, when you possess the basketball, it's like a bar of gold. Don't give it up. You know, just hang on to it. Some things are going to happen, you know.
I feel like Larry's about to break into a commercial that says something like, in these uncertain economic times, I trust gold. In case you're wondering, recently they've had a run on shovels at the hardware store in Larry's neighborhood. Lipscomb playing the Cats close for a while. Kentucky breaking it open early in the second half. Hurt had it knocked away.
Nice help by Wiltshire that time.
And Poitras goes to the floor. They say he hit it last.
There's another one of those times right there where Archie Goodwin gets up in the air and has no idea what he's going to do with the ball. He's on the break 3-on-2. Young man who has struggled today. I mean, he hasn't scored yet. Well, he's got one basket coming off that out-of-bounds play. And that time he got up there and nowhere to go with the basketball, particularly from a shooting standpoint. So he looks to his right, makes a bad pass over there, and it gives Lipscomb the ball back.
It's interesting the analogy that Calipari has given his guys during practice, Larry. You know, most people think of, taking the ball to the basket and things like that as being selfish. Cal says they're being selfish when they don't talk to each other.
Right.
Because that means they don't care about what's happening to their teammate. They're only taking care of their own business. And there's Smith getting free for his first basket of the afternoon.
Well, Carter Sanderson with a terrific pass down there. Straight from the wing.
Malcolm Smith averaging 13 a contest. And that's his first bucket. And Noel loses a ball on a rebound situation that hit the floor.
Good hustle over there by Goodwin to get down there on that corner. He was able to get the ball back. A good hustle, too, on the part of Carter Sanderson. He just couldn't hold on to it as the ball rolled into that Kentucky bench. You got to like the effort. I mean, when you got college guys diving on the basketball floor.
Wiltshire up and under. And he got his own miss.
It was either Goodwin or Wiltshire. I'm not sure which one got it.
I thought Wiltshire got it with the left hand. Noel with a block.
Good run out by Harrow.
Back-to-back hustle plays for Kentucky. The Wiltshire tip. The Noel block. And the Cats have their biggest lead.
Noel with another steal.
Third straight turnover by the Bisons. And for those of you scoring at home, and I know you are, they do prefer the Bisons instead of the Bison. Mays is bumped as he goes to the baseline.
Once again, you can see right here Lipscomb trying to get the ball up. Noel right there to get in position to block that shot. Just enough to touch it, and Harrell picks it up with an easy run out. Chad Johnson not able to keep up with it.
Noel has tied his career high with 7 blocks on the afternoon, and we've still got over 8 minutes to play. What about the hustle numbers, Larry?
Yeah, you can see right there they're averaging 14 turnovers forced. They've gotten 20 so far against this club. 11 steals, 9 blocks, 20 second chance points. You know, we talked so much last year about the number of blocks that Kentucky team had. They had so many guys that could block shots. I'll tell you what, these guys are going to register some pretty good numbers too on that category.
Hurt is foul. And Teddy Valentine has got the quick trigger. Noel kind of chirped at him after being called for the foul, and Valentine's head whipped around like Linda Blair in The Exorcist. I'm sure Poitras, if Brian Woodrum there in the truck could provide Alex Poitras a copy of those hustle numbers, I'm sure he'd love to give them to John Calipari before the next practice. That's right, he passed it along to Kenny Payne. And Noel getting a big hand, going to the Kentucky bench. He was in that back and forth with Alexander, so I think that's a good strategic sit down right now to kind of let the young man gather himself and not put himself in a situation that he can't extricate himself from. Hurt at the free throw line. Gets his first career double-double. 10 points, 11 boards.
Nice. Paulson with a good pass. And a good cut to the basket that time by Archie Goodwin. You find that opening, get there. And if the guy with the ball sees you, he's going to make the pass. Paulson with a good delivery.
Smith can't get it to go. And here come the Cats. Colson was fouled on the pass. And Kentucky with the pedal down. 10 blocks. Great plays from everybody like that. Assist from Colson. And Kentucky blowing it open. 73-42, Kentucky on top of Lipscomb. As we roll along with 7:36 to go. Dave Baker, Larry Conley, Brian Woodrum, Roy Alfers. And time now to get our direct auto insurance coverage of the game. And it's Nerlens Noel providing the coverage, Larry.
Yeah, he's all over the basketball. Not only is he blocking shots today, he's got 7. He's also altering a lot of shots. Lipscomb really realizing that down inside, if you take it down there, he's going to be somewhere around that lane.
It's complete coverage, not just collision. And now the answer to our Toyota trivia question. In 2012, Kentucky had an NCAA record 6 players taken in the NBA draft. The other school was 6 players. UNLV.
I would have missed that. I would have missed on that.
You had a quick early answer. What was it?
Yeah, I thought Kentucky was another team. Another one of their teams had that many, but I was wrong. UNLV had a great club. Boy, were they good back then. Back in the 70s, UNLV was good every year.
Goodwin kept it alive. And Wiltshire in trouble.
Right over here somewhere. Right here, right there. Here we go.
Oh, I was like, what are they looking at there on the floor? And Malcolm Smith, as we mentioned, who suffered the eye injury in practice, is wearing those goggles today, and one of the lenses popped out. I thought I heard the official Tracy Woodson say glass. I'm like, glass? Who's got a glass down there? So Smith now getting those adjusted. And when they stop play like that, they go to the alternate possession arrow. And the arrow points the way of the Bisons.
You know what? I think he's going to play without the goggles.
I know they're new, but surely they've got a backup pair.
Doesn't look like it. Looks as if the trainer is going to go back and try to insert that piece of glass that fell out of there. I'm sure they'll get it back to him as quickly as they can.
He's got this look on his face like I can fix ankles but not glasses. Nice defense by Cauley Stein. Smith tied up. They say Cauley Stein got his hand on it. Alternate possession arrow goes to Kentucky. Technically, that's probably registered as another block.
That's a good question. Probably it would be because he was on his way to a block.
Oh, he's working those glasses. There's a nose piece. Technically, it's a turnover and not a block shot. Colson got hung up on the baseline, and he's called for the turnover. He thought he might have gotten bumped ever so slightly, and he knows that that's going to send him to the bench. Ryan Harrow back in, and I think Harrow's probably played his best all-around game of the year, Larry.
I would agree. I'll tell you who else has played his best all-around game is Kyle Wilcher today.
No question. Closed out nicely on defense there. And Malcolm Smith, boy, it looked like from this angle he'd gotten tied up, but Anthony Jordan says that somebody, it's Mays, is guilty of the reach.
Malcolm Smith at the line for one in the bonus.
That puts Malcolm Smith at the line. And his brother pulls down the offensive board. Malcolm and Martin, twin brothers from Clarksville, Tennessee, the same hometown as Alex Poitras. Played against each other in high school, some AAU games.
Good switching by Kentucky on the perimeter.
Sanderson's shot won't go. And Goodwin on the floor calls timeout.
Timeout, Kentucky.
Good hustle and a nice heads-up play by Archie Goodwin.
That is a 30-second timeout.
You know, sometimes in crucial situations, I'm not sure it's worthwhile to call that timeout when you're on the floor, particularly when you need that timeout in a very, very big game.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, it's almost automatic that when kids go to the floor now and there's a chance they're going to get tied up, they call that timeout. I mean, you got to be very judicious about the way you're going to use those timeouts.
Gives us an opportunity to take a look at our Acura game summary. See Martin Smith, most of his damage coming in the first half. And Kentucky, Kyle Wilcher. How about the double-double? And the Cats going to their strength and getting 38 of their 73 in the paint.
I say one of the keys to the game for Lipscomb to even have a chance today was to keep Kentucky out of the lane. They were not able to do it today, and the Cats have really performed well down inside.
Wilcher with 20 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists. And he's got those 20 points on just 11 field goal attempts. Noel back in there for Kentucky. Going to work on Hurt.
Nice. Very nice. Hurt had no defensive answer for that maneuver right there, and a nice job by Noel. Taking full advantage of it with Lipscomb not giving any help when he picked up the ball down in there.
Sanderson just lost it out of bounds. 22nd turnover of the day. And we have seen Noel be more vocal today, be more animated on the court.
Dave, at one point in the second half, Lipscomb was out rebounding Kentucky 26-21. At the 15:08 mark, they have out rebounded Lipscomb 16-2.
Noel again had it blocked.
See, there's that help. If Lipscomb comes down in there, they cannot rely on Hurt simply to just guard Noel by himself. Chad Johnson got in there and tied him up, and it gets Lipscomb the ball back.
Noel called for the hold. And that is his 5th. And I believe that'll be the first time that he has fouled out in his Kentucky career. 7 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist.
As well as Hurt played in the first half, and he did have a good first 20 minutes. It's been somewhat negated, I think, by Kentucky's defense. Oftentimes, I think one of the coaches that does the best job of making changes from first half to second half, realizing what hurt him in the first half, John Calipari. John's very good at making sure that the same guy that hurt him in the first half is not going to do that in the second half. And they've been able to just simply keep the ball away from him for most of the second half.
He is not going to let somebody, have a huge, huge night. Wiltshire. Seven of 9 from outside the arc. Ties his career high, his season high with 23. It's only 1 off his career high.
Good block by Cauley Stein. He just got a piece of that when his Glover tried to go up and lay it in.
And I thought what was more impressive, Larry, was the way he went and got it.
Yes.
Here's Goodwin.
When he does that, he is really good. Putting the ball on the deck, getting by his one defender, and if somebody else comes to get him, just taking it up there and just rolling it off his fingertips, making something easy, and he did on that particular move to the basket.
Glover couldn't get the turn to go, and there's Cauley Stein with another rebound.
Hello. Now that's good silent communication, okay? You got a guy that can get up near that rim just like he did on that particular play as Goodwin goes up, and a terrific pass by Mays.
Sankey with nowhere to go. Archie Goodwin with 10, all in the second half. And Johnson just loses it out of bounds. Kentucky with the hustle. They've gotten the execution. And they are putting away Lipscomb here at Rupp.
Today's game is presented by South Walton, Florida. Go to visitsouthwalton.com to find your perfect beach.
Kyle Wiltshire with a big afternoon. A lot of fighting these cats, and that's what their coach has called for. And Kentucky pulling away from Lipscomb late at Rupp Arena. There's our Regions Bank player of the game, Kyle Wiltshire. He's got the double-double, 23 points, 11 rebounds. He's got those 23 points on just 12 field goals, Larry.
I'll tell you what, he's done a terrific job today, and this may be the game that propels him into a really good season. Guy that had been struggling with his three-point shot in the early part of November and December, and all of a sudden he has a kind of a coming-out party here.
Remember, he's one of the guys that a couple of weeks ago was hearing it from the fans and deleted his Twitter account. Oh, what a difference a couple of weeks and some hours in the gym can make. Cauley Stein lost it. Just went through his hands. Normally you'd say that's understandable for a big man, but not understandable for a wide receiver.
Which he was in high school.
And a good one.
Another turnover for Lipscomb.
"24 turnovers against the Bisons. Cauley Stein trying to go to work against Garcia. Calipari wants the ball to go to Cauley Stein. Instead, Harrow got a good look but couldn't convert.
Kentucky's defense has been very stifling in the second half. They have not allowed Lipscomb to have any good looks at the basket, and they're always there in the passing lane. Nice attempt at a steal by Harrow.
Denny had it blocked.
And again.
Twice. 12 blocks on the day for Kentucky. And Poitras will go to the line, and it'll give us a chance to take a look at our Regions Bank play of the game.
Once again, the guy that's going to catch it and finish it off right there on the nice pass, Mays delivering inside Archie Goodwin. Well, Mays made a nice pass that time. You got to look for your teammates breaking to the basket. Mays delivered an on-time and exactly where you want it pass.
That'll put Poitras at the free throw line. You know, John Calipari's talked to these guys a lot about, you know, just keep fighting through. And I want to mention Mays again. He's had a tough shooting day. Only 1 of 8 from the field. But he's got 6 rebounds, Larry, 4 assists, 5 of 5 from the free throw line. Played a really good floor game. For those of you tuning in to see Louisville and Memphis, we'll take you right there after the final 2 minutes and 12 seconds of this one. Dave Baker, Larry Conley here in Lexington, where Kentucky is putting the finishing touches on what would be the Cats' 7th win of the season against Lipscomb out of Nashville. How about a look at our O'Charlie's fan of the game? I was getting ready to say that could have been fans there. I didn't know whether it was fan or fans.
Getting at the line for 2.
Oh, that's right. The dog does have the earring there. Style points for that, I guess.
Checking at the Lipscomb are number 9, J.J. Butler, and number 15, Dylan Drake.
Nice effort today by these Wildcats. It's you and I have had a chance to see them play a number of times already this season. Consider this probably their best effort so far this season as they pick up a big win against a team that really kind of challenged them. Lipscomb got within 8 in the second half, and they just kind of pulled away from there. I want to credit the defense for a lot of that.
And Willie Cauley Stein with a chance to complete the three-point play.
Cauley Stein in the line for 1.
I'll tell you what else will challenge Kentucky too will be John Calipari in these next 2 weeks. With the Cats not back on the court until next Saturday against Marshall. Kids are gone. No 20-hour rule in effect. And then whatever time they get for Christmas will be perilously short because Louisville looms on the horizon on December 29th. Cauley Stein drew the contact. And the big guy showing he can run the floor again. Denny commits his 3rd foul.
You know, Dave, while we've just got a minute here, I just want to wish you a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, and any other group of people who celebrate this type of celebration during the season. I hope everyone has a wonderful time. All their families enjoy themselves, and I think it's just a great time of the year.
Absolutely. And it's certainly we've seen in the last 24 hours or so. You know, hug them up as much as you can. Enjoy every minute. Don't take one for granted. A little less of that hustle and bustle. Go a long way. Lonnie Beckham commits the foul. From a basketball standpoint, Calipari's just the opposite. He's hoping he sees more and more hustle.
Tell you one thing we've seen a lot of today are fouls.
We have.
Getting at the line for 2.
Total of 40 fouls committed in the game. 22 against Lipscomb, 18 against Kentucky. I think we've seen 3 technicals. 4 technicals. Goodness. Alexander picked up 2, and he was ejected early in the second half. Johnson with a steal. And Polson commits the foul.
Johnson at the line.
Balanced scoring by the Cats, as we mentioned. Wilcher with that 23 and 12 for the double-double. 12 for Harrow, 8 of those in the first half. Goodwin with 10, all of those in the second half. Alex Poitras with 10. Noel fouled out. By golly, he fouled out, and he darn near had a triple-double. 7 points, 9 rebounds, 7 block shots. Poitras on the spin, and he'll go to the line.
Dave, for what time we have witnessed Kentucky so far this year, and we caught them right at the beginning of November, and here we are, mid-December right now, and I can see progress. I see this team beginning to put things together and maybe becoming a little bit closer.
I think what it also shows, Larry, is John Calipari's willingness to change. You know, the last 3 years, he had guys that really went about their business. And again, this doesn't mean these kids are bad kids. He just realized he had to coach them a different way. And he has changed in midstream. And he now understands fully. And he said it yesterday at practice. He said, if we hustle, if we dive after loose balls, if we play with intensity, we're as good as anybody in the country.
Well, they're sitting on a 40-point lead right now, and it's the first time I've seen John smile so far this year.
And Poitras called for the foul.
The foul is on Poitras. That's his second.
Dave, you made a good point earlier, though, when you were talking about their ability here over the next couple of weeks to really kind of refresh, push the refresh button, and let's start doing the kinds of things we need to do to be successful, not only against a Louisville team that's going to really challenge them, but also the Southeastern Conference. Right now, I think their main competitors in this league is going to be Florida. I think the Gators are loaded with talent, and Missouri's not far behind.
As we mentioned, they're getting ready for number 6 Louisville, and for those of you who are hoping to see the 6th-ranked Cards against Memphis, that comes your way right after these final 20 seconds. That's a John Calipari 6th degree of separation game with Louisville and Memphis. All in all, coming off exam week in Camp Cal, a good effort for the Cats. They blow it open late and put away Lipscomb by a count of 88-50. Kyle Wilcher, 23 points and 12 rebounds, the double-double to lead the Cats. Stephen Hurt, 12 and 11 for Lipscomb. So that's it from Lexington, Kentucky, where the final score is 88-50. For our producer, Brian Woodrum, our director, Roy Alfers, and my partner, Larry Conley, I'm Dave Baker. Thanks for being with us and watching SEC college basketball. Kentucky wins it 88-50. So long, everyone.